So tonight I want to get it up on the jack stands. Bought 4 12-ton jack stands, 28-inch reach. The fronts, it looks like we'll probably need some help. Find out here in a minute, but I have these 6x6s ready to go to set the jack stands on, gain another 5.5 inches, and hopefully they'll reach and be really solid. And then I've got 2 other ones back here under the drawbar. That way it at least is sitting solid, and that drawbar is definitely strong. As you could tell when we unloaded it, I was using the forks from the John Deere and lifting the whole back of the tractor with that drawbar. It didn't flex or bend or anything. Pretty strong. This tractor weighs about 4,400 pounds according to what I've read, and we want it to be solid. Don't want it going anywhere. I want to be able to pull things off the wheels, the engine if necessary. Anything that's got to come off, I want it to be really solid. So moving forward here, should have her up in the air fully in a little bit. Oh, the pool, the Walmart pool is for catching debris, oil. Gonna fill the engine with Marvel Mystery Oil, which I have over here, 5 gallons of it. I went to Walmart, picked that up. Aren't they pretty? And then went to the garden section and got this pool. Got 2 of them actually. Got a blue one, got a pink one, and my love, she wanted that pink one, and I wanted the blue. So we got the 2, and they'll be great, I think. Actually, my uncle suggested those for catching oil and debris, my Uncle Donnie. All right, gonna do some more jacking with the bottle jack. As you can see, we have it set up here. And when I lift this one side, the whole front comes up, so that should work out great. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so got it up on the stands. Wheels are off the ground. Stands are solid. Ready to work. More to come. Welcome back. Decided to work a little longer, a little further tonight. Gonna get this gas tank off and get that hood cover that's been up, get it off. Looks like I'm gonna have to cut a piece there, that round piece right here. I have to cut that. It's completely rusted, like into one whole piece underneath, and that's got to come loose. Then that'll come off, no big deal. Probably have to cut some of these bolts here for these bands. Just removed this. It was a fuel line. You can see that was brass. So at first, it wanted to break all this rust out and come off in one piece. I put a wrench over here and held it, and that came loose. So brass and copper, non-corrosion type metal, so it came right off. Thank God. That was the first piece, really. So I'm gonna work at this, and one step at a time, we'll get it. It's a little overwhelming when you look at it as one big project, all the different things. It's not really a lot of things on this tractor in terms of operations. There's no wiring other than spark plug wires. There's no lighting, there's no starter. There's an engine with its various components. you know, radiator. The steering still works. It's amazing. I've got it clamped off right now so I could unload it. So I put 2 clamps on this broken steering wheel. There's supposed to be a steering wheel there. So I put 2 clamps up there and held beautifully. If you take those clamps off and turn that broken steering wheel, it will turn this front wheel. This is another issue. We have one of the hubs. It actually spins. That turns. And that's what it rolled on, getting off and on the trailer. But the other side got removed at one point to go on another tractor. Never got put back on, so it's pretty much trash. Looks like it sat at the bottom of the ocean for 10 years. But it did sit outside for 50, over 50. And probably lived outside before that too, but anyway. So you can see, talking about the scope of this project, the magnitude. I mean, these valves, these push rods, it's as if they are made as one piece and they're supposed to move, but they're solid in there. It's a little overwhelming when you look at it, you know, from this perspective here. But when you look at it from steps, in terms of steps, take the hood off, take the gas tank off. Those are the next 2 steps. That's all I'm gonna think about right now. Stay tuned. So taking this steering, these 2 hose clamps off the steering apparatus, the broken steering wheel, so I can hopefully get this shaft off and get all this out of here and out of the way from on top of the engine, so I can have free access to the engine and try to start the process of getting that worked out, which we'll see how that's going to go. But good news is 2 bolts up at the top at the front of the shaft actually loosened up with a wrench and a little penetrating oil. They loosen right up. So yeah, and as you can see, we got the gas tank off, got the hood off. It's just one step at a time. Thanks. So yeah, I got 2 bolts loose down here. It's penetrating oil and breaker bar, no biggie. Really excited. They look so rusted, but they came loose. This shaft here, this support for the steering wheel, the steering rod and shaft came out relatively easily. This end here came out as well, relatively easily. So potentially reusable parts, not the prettiest, but things are coming apart one step at a time. So after a bunch of grinding, a lot of sparks, there was a bracket under the radiator support that holds this shaft, which is actually the cranking shaft. You put a handle on here and turn it to crank it. And it was all rusted solid, so I cut all the bolts off, and now the radiator will come out. It's amazing. This thing is solid cast iron and weighs a ton. They don't make nothing like that anymore. So, made a lot of progress tonight. Didn't really expect this, but it sure has been a lot of fun. Got the radiator off, the hood, the gas tank, the oil filter canister, the air filter canister, the steering, well, what was left of the steering wheel and steering rods, as well as the throttle, or I think that might be actually, it's either throttle or timing advance, or both. Not sure of all those operations yet, but at any rate, A lot of progress on the old tractor. You can see down in there, radiator used to be there. Got the spark plugs out, which was fantastic. Here they are here. They are huge, fat spark plugs in very rough shape. You can see the rust down in there, the corrosion that obviously is in the cylinder. Speaking of rust and corrosion, the gas tank is pretty much a goner. Well, not pretty much, but definitely done. So it looks like it's off a shipwreck or something. But anyway, filled the cylinders in each hole with Marvel Mystery Oil. Each one is full. Sprayed all of this valve train with penetrating oil for now. And all the bolts, just getting everything kind of soaked with oil. These bolts, these three right here, triangle shaped there, were holding the oil filter canister. Came out surprisingly easy. Very simple to get them out. They just came right out of there. Spark plugs weren't that hard either. So, very pleased with, some of the extraction of bolts. Obviously some had to be cut, but overall not too bad for sitting outside in the weather, in a field, grown over with trees, for over 50 years, probably something like 55 years or so. Heavy duty machine. But really, I'm really surprised. I mean, things are coming apart relatively easily, so that gives me a lot of hope. I'm not sure what we'll find in the bottom end of the engine and the cylinders. They're obviously corroded. The oil pan is all bashed in, for lack of a better term. That should be like square. It's also got a couple of holes in it. I think water was running out when we were loading it on the trailer. It actually was supported right here by a piece of a railroad tie and a piece of a cinder block. The cinder block had been shoved down in the ground and the railroad tie on top of it. And the whole front of the tractor was sitting on that, which is actually pretty dangerous because this tractor is not light. Talking about some solid cast iron there. So anyway, that's it for the evening. We'll get back to it as soon as we can. It's a lot of fun. Keep thinking of Granddaddy. I think he would be really, really happy, really excited to see something like this happening. So maybe one day we'll hear this thing run. I'm not sure how that will go quite yet, but tonight has been really good. So that's it.